A recent news story in Ireland states that it's experiencing its worst labour shortage in the last 17 years. The labour shortage in Ireland has never been this bad. In fact, the number of work permits that Ireland issued in 2022 doubled from 2021. And so today's video is all about helping you understand how you can move to Ireland. If you are interested in moving to Ireland, stick around. As someone who's worked quite a bit in Ireland, I'm not surprised by how the whole landscape has changed. I have always seen people move quite often to Ireland, especially in the last decade, since the whole city of Dublin opened up and there was a whole crisis that was going on. So immigration was a very good way to combat it. I saw a lot of people in my network moving, and I thought at some point it will stop. But guess what? It hasn't. I was talking to one of our Ireland mentors. I'll pop the screenshot up here. She told me that the hiring is still pretty good and visas are still being sponsored. So in today's video, we're going to figure out how is it that we can move to Ireland. We're going to talk about Ireland in three segments. First, we look at the visas that were issued in 2022, who got the visas, who gave the visas, and which fields got the visas. Second up, we'll talk about the basic work permit situation in Ireland and what changes we're expecting. And third, we'll talk about how is it that we can apply for jobs in Ireland. So in 2022, Ireland issued about 40,000 work permits. This was double of what was issued in 2021. And the work permits are expected to go by at least 50 to 60% in 2023, meaning there's a lot of scope, and if you target right, you could be moving to Ireland this year. Looking at the 2022 data, we can confidently say that the biggest sectors in Ireland last year were IT, healthcare, accommodation, hospitality, finance, and agriculture. There are a lot of other industries as well. In fact, there are a total of 28 industries which were issuing work permits. And if you want a detailed link for this government data, I'll leave a link in the description box. We've put it up on the Globalogy blog post and the Globalogy website. All that you have to do is sign up. It's totally free to do and you can access this data. When it comes to which nationality got the most number of work permits, India was number one by a huge margin. So much so that India almost got 45% of the total number of work permits that were issued. The second country that followed close on suit was Brazil, followed by Philippines, Pakistan. Again, if you want access to this data, go into the description box, click on the link, sign up on Globalogy, and it'll directly take you to the blog post where we've posted everything. While doing this research, I also realized that the government publishes a list of companies that have a license to sponsor foreigners. And there are more than 6,600 Irish companies that have actively been sponsoring visas in 2022. Most of these still have openings. So if you are looking for jobs, the best way to go about it is to target the career portal of these employers. If you've taken our Ireland masterclass, please go back into the resources. We posted this link. We've updated everything in the masterclass with the recent announcements, so that you can start targeting the employers that will actually have the option to sponsor you a visa. And if you haven't signed up for it, I'll leave a link in the description box. Please go check it out. We have a lot of mentors who guide you through their own journey of getting a visa sponsorship. We give you a lot of resources so that you can find your own visa sponsorship opportunity. And we give you a list of these 6,600 plus companies that we know are actively hiring in 2023 and have a license to sponsor foreign workers. Now that we understand how the statistics are and what is the number of work permits that we can expect that will be issued in 2023, let's take a step back and talk about the work permits in general. There are a lot of work permits in Ireland. There are 9 pathways to actually move and work in Ireland, but there are 2 that I particularly like: the general skill and the critical skill. The critical skill permit gives you a PR in just 2 years. So you can get your stamp 4, which is the PR in Ireland, in just 2 years. For the general skills, this will take 5 years. Here comes the best part. In Ireland, you can also apply your own work permit if you're not getting a sponsorship. So just in case you come across an Irish employer who really wants to hire you, but they don't have the bandwidth and the capacity to sponsor you a visa, you can offer to file your own visa. What this does is it puts you at par with the local job market candidate, meaning if you don't need visa sponsorship, you're like any other candidate in Ireland who would also not need visa sponsorship. And not a lot of countries offer this option to employees. So whether you want to apply for the critical skills or the general employment permit, all that you need is a job in Ireland. And we're already giving you the list of companies that can sponsor you a visa. So why not go ahead? At this point, I'm sure you're wondering what's critical skills and what's general employment permit. So in Ireland, there are 2 lists: ineligible occupations and critical skills. Ineligible occupations are just occupations that are not open to any kind of sponsorship whatsoever. Critical skills list is what is open for the critical skills sponsorship. So the CSEP, which is the critical skills employment permit, it comes from the critical skills list. If your occupation is on the critical skills list, you can apply for the CSEP. And you can apply for a general permit if your occupation is not on the ineligible list. I know this sounds a little tricky, so the smartest and the most efficient way to go about it is first look at the ineligible list. Make sure that your occupation is not ineligible for visa sponsorship. Once that's done, move on to the critical skills list. See if your occupation falls in that category. If it falls in that category, you can apply for the CSEP. If it doesn't fall in that category, then you can apply for the general employment permit. This immigration situation is quite unique to Ireland because most countries don't work like this. Most countries have a shortage list and then they have a general list in terms of who is eligible for sponsorship. They don't have an ineligible list, which Ireland has. In my opinion, that just opens up visa sponsorship for many other categories. Instead of saying who should be eligible, they say who is not eligible, which means everybody else who's not specified on the ineligible list is eligible for sponsorship. If we've gotten through this part, let's move on to the third part, which is how do I look for jobs? Now, long ago, I'd made a video about how do you go ahead and look for a job in Ireland, and I'd specified my favorite website, which is jobs.ie. They have a whole section on how to apply for jobs as a foreigner. Highly recommend that even today because a lot of my followers have been able to get through only through that particular website. Of course, it needs a lot of patience and a lot of steady application, so keep doing it. Once you've exhausted jobs.ie, I highly recommend that you go on to LinkedIn. LinkedIn is where you'll find a lot of Ireland opportunities as well. Just go on to location filter, change everything to Ireland, and then put in the keywords that match your job description. The third and honestly the best place to go about is take that list of 6,600 companies and go onto their career portal and start targeting jobs there. We know that they already have a history of sponsoring foreigners, which means even if they're not okay to sponsor you a visa, they are okay to at least hire a foreigner. They do understand the process, and you can easily pitch that you will apply for your own work permit. And if you're wondering, will this trick even work? Well, let me tell you this, it will work because it has worked for a lot of my followers. You can go on to my highlights. There are a lot of stories from people who've used the same hack. I also have my job support service where I've seen people figure it out with the same hack as well. Now, summing up this whole video, all in all, I just want to conclude this is an amazing time to move to Ireland. It's an English-speaking country. It has massive labor shortages. It's also relaxing its immigration policies. Right now, all of that is on table. It's being discussed in the parliament. It's a bill. It's not a law. But once it becomes a law, you know this channel is going to cover it first. Ireland also gives you access to the European market and is closer to home, which for me is India, and I know a lot of my followers are from Asia. So I sincerely hope that you will give Ireland a chance. On that note, this video has come to an end. I hope you like this video. Let me know in the comments where is it that you plan to move. Stop and do that right now because I want to be able to cover videos that actually work for you and work for the countries that you guys are interested in. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and obviously talk to me in the comments because I love talking to you and that's the only place I can get feedback from. I'll see you in my next video. Until then, you take care of yourself. Stay safe. Namaste.